Okay, can anybody hear me? This is Kim, just in case you wondered where you are and somebody can hear me. Hi, Glenn. Thanks. Hi, Linda. Hi, Sandra. Okay, cool. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Just give me a second on that. Okay, let me go back to here. Okay, can you see my screen? Okay, great. So I'm going to go ahead and jump right in. And of course, this is the Wednesday lead generation source webinar where we're going to cover topics in general and give some examples, but we'll take these concepts and apply them to the Trex T-Rex site on Monday. So let's go. Why search engine optimization? So we've been talking search engine optimization this week, and some of the core reasons when you think of search engine optimization, especially considering that's the terminology, is that SEO or search engine optimization helps your site rank in search engines. This means when it ranks in search engines, this means that you can get essentially free traffic. And if you get free traffic, then that helps, reduce your ad spend, increases, obviously the sales or the conversions. If you're doing, content where you're driving people to opt in. Hi, Joanne. So the second thing is search engine optimization may contribute to Facebook ads. And of course, no one really knows, but they have said that schema, which is microdata, is important. And when you use proper SEO, it does contribute to schema, assuming you can find the right app for the site. So, and an update on that real quick is it's still in progress. I'm still waiting for a response from the Trex support, by the way. So the third part, proper search engine optimization, helps your page convert. And this means that, if people are looking on, if they're on your site, they're either going to stay on your site and read the content. That can be a type of a conversion. They're going to stay on your site and then they're going to opt into whatever it is they want to, you want to collect their email, you want them to go to another page, whatever the action is, the call to action is, you want them to buy something. If you use proper SEO, then that helps them to convert. Now, of course, if you have stupid content, that's irrelevant, but using proper SEO helps you get your message across to viewers. And so because of that, that helps engage your audience. And one thing I didn't add on here, which I probably should have, is that SEO is only one of two methods where you can get, I guess, earn free, and then you can say traffic, sales, conversions. And the other one, of course, is emails. And emails are different because you have to first get the traffic and then collect the emails in some method. So search engine optimization is really the only way you can get free traffic. Of course, there's methods that go with that. You can do backlinks and you can put some effort in and get some free traffic other ways as well. But search engine optimization is, once you've done it right, you really get that traffic. So, and again, like I said, it also contributes to Facebook ads. So last week we learned how to identify our keywords. And if you missed that last week, I highly recommend you review I have the links in both the groups, and I'll try to get that a little bit better organized. I'm trying to get a site where we can have like a members area and you can go in. But as we've learned from experience, that's not as easy as it appears. So there's not a whole lot of systems out there that contribute to that successfully without paying out a ton of money. So I'm still researching that a little bit. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks we'll have something. But this week we'll go ahead and we'll apply some keywords and learn how to actually apply the search engine optimization techniques. And instead of starting from scratch, because that would take forever, I'm actually going to show you on a site that I haven't done much with lately. And when we did this, we kind of just got it up and I was real quick. And this is my security site. And of course, this needs a lot of work. I mean, we don't rely on our security site to actually generate traffic. I've gotten a couple calls from it, and that's great because, but that's not the way it works in the security industry. Most people are word of mouth or knocking on your door. So the website is more of a technicality. But, I have a spot here they can sign up, but it's really messy. And I mean, it's still good. It's just there's room for improvement. So we're going to actually look at this from a keyword standpoint and kind of adjust some other stuff. And it's kind of funny and I don't think anybody in here is in the Copywriting Academy from Learn, but I had already had this scheduled out and planned, and then they did their copywriting one yesterday, and Jeff Lenny came on, and I'm like, whoa, I know Jeff Lenny. I've known him from years ago, where he taught me some secrets of search engine optimization, and he actually teaches the basics of it, like I'm talking about. And I knew it before I met him, but he's very good. So it was good to hear him reinforce the same concepts and say, okay, yeah, see, so he's doing this, he does it for a living. So he does it as affiliate marketer, and he teaches it. And he also is like, I think he's still employed at this huge corporation in California somewhere, where that's all his job is to write search engine optimization content and put it on some major corporation site. And he gets paid pretty good money, I guess, to do that. So he obviously knows what he's doing. And so it was really good to hear him on there and listen to his tips and tricks, which are exactly the same ones that I knew and I will share. And I actually know more than what he teaches, because he teaches it as general and I teach it for both general and specific, like local businesses. So this one applies whether you have a local business or not. It's just I happen to use a local business keyword term. And so I went ahead and put Arlington, Texas security systems. And that's my main keyword on here. And remember, last week, for those that were on, I said go ahead and use Yoast SEO if you want for a free plugin. And I want to also mention this again, that if you do use Yoast SEO, there is, especially the free version, there's a setting in here where, see, this shows the snippet preview of how it would show up. It doesn't actually show up this way. They add in Yoast SEO somewhere on here at some point, and it's visible in the search engine, so I'm like, I don't really like that, and if I had my way, I would take it off. But unfortunately, I don't know how to remove it. Even if you remove the plugin, it still shows up. At least I've had some stuff show up. So I'm like, it doesn't matter on this site, so I'm just going to leave it. But I would prefer not to have that. So on some of my sites, especially now, like I said, I have Webfire, so I do it a little bit differently now, where I actually don't write it straight into WordPress, but it takes a little bit longer the way I do it. So Yoast SEO, you can type it straight in here, you can save stuff, and it's great. But when you put this in here, you pick your keyword, and if you see jiggling, that is not me. That is WordPress doing something. I don't know why, but there's nothing I can do about it. It just does it. And then, okay, this is all other stuff. So this is where it has the analysis, and you've got two analysis here. You've got readability, excuse me, and you've got the keyword analysis. And so for readability, the copy score is 48.6. Which is difficult to read. Yep, that would be my PhD part of my training. I was taught from as long as I can remember to write academically, and most people don't write that way. And one of the tips that I've learned, and I try to apply as much as possible, is that when you're writing your content, write it like you're writing an email to a friend. But of course, then you want to fine tune it with appropriately. But write like you're writing an email to a friend. And I'm like, but don't use like text jargon. You is spelled Y-O-U. I don't know how many times I have to tell my students that, but literally in education, oh look, I think I had a word spelled wrong. Nope, just a comma. So anyway, so let's start with keyword, and then I'll go over all this other stuff I have. So the keyword has to go in the title, and they call this an H1 tag. And if you're not using WordPress, then you need to make sure you designate it as your H1 tag. But your keyword doesn't have to be exact. So this is an exact match keyword for what I'm going for. Now, if let's say that I wanted to do something like Arlington, Texas security systems, or best Arlington, Texas security systems, right? So you can put best Arlington, Texas security systems, but what's going to happen is that's going to turn it into that keyword. And that's because your keyword basically needs to start at the beginning. So I'm going to leave it as Arlington, Texas security systems, because that's what I'm going for. But you could add on something like a dash and say best, if you were doing content, you do best 3 tips or best 3 systems, maybe something like that. You can do that, but you want to make sure your keyword's still towards the front. So that's all something that you have to kind of decide. And this one's actually not the best one to show you. This one has the permalink as the front page, and I did that on purpose. And you'll see here where I have no home page. Home is a pointless keyword. So one of the tricks is instead of having a home page, you change your home page to a keyword. And so that's what I did. I changed it to Arlington, Texas Security Systems, because I was like, well, I'll just make that my main keyword. So I went and put that in here. Now there's a couple things like I said, this is not written 100%, even though it says it's good. There's a lot of things I need to change. So the next thing is once you have your keyword and you've determined how you want to do it, you need to have it pretty much in your first sentence. Here in the first content, in the first paragraph, the bare minimum, but generally towards the first sentence. So, I have looking to improve the security of your home or business. So I might say, instead, I'm going to say looking for, and of course, this doesn't work naturally, but that's okay. And then, of course, you only want one question mark. So looking for Arlington, Texas Security Systems. And of course, normally you'd have a comma if it was proper grammar. The problem is that commas are breaks. And so if your keyword is Arlington, Texas Security Systems, you're going to have to fight your grammar need and take out those commas in your keyword, because you don't want anything that's breaking that up. You want your full keyword. Now, I'm not always going to use that, but I want to make sure my keyword's in the title, it's in that first part, and then there's a couple other spots as well. So then, okay, the rest of this is fine. So again, I rewrote that a different way, and then security systems, and then here's something else for visibility. You want to kind of give it some more white space here. You want to break it up. If people, again, back to my APA writing is that you need to have a minimum of 3 sentences in a paragraph. Well, that's proper writing, right? Yep, you get to toss that out when you're online. When you're online, you want to make it look make it look pleasing. So if people look at this and they're like, oh my gosh, there's an entire ton of content here, they need to be able to go, oh, look, there's an end in sight. Yes, I only have to read that far, and then I can choose to stop or not. People usually keep reading if it's something they're interested in. So that's just something that you need to keep in mind, is that you want to break it up and give some white content. I mean, you can have it so that it's just one line too, and you have to play with it. And then of course, when you want to, you can say preview changes, and you can see the changes are. So you can say, oh, I like that, or I don't. And keep in mind also, so what you're seeing here is on a 27-inch television. That's what I use for a monitor. I think it actually might be a 32-inch now that I say that. It's a big screen. Most people don't have a screen this big. It's not going to look the same way. So it's just a general idea of how it's going to look. If you want to pull it up and test it on your phone eventually, but this is just going to be overall, just make it look nice, and then you can fine tune it as you see. But everything you do, there's going to be a system out there. There's going to be somebody's settings that are going to make it look different. There's no way to reach 100%. So let's go back here, and then what I usually do is I have an image really close to the top, and every image, when I go in here and I say, let's see what I did actually. Yeah, so Arlington, Texas Security Systems, was that my keyword? Let's see if it was system or systems. Yep, so that's it. And so and you can edit this in WordPress. Arlington, Texas Security Systems alarm monitoring. So that was my image for alarm monitoring, because you can have like one that matches, but if they all say the same thing, then the algorithms are going to see that you're gaming it. So even if you just put a 1 there or a 2 there or a 3 there, that's fine. But what I usually do is try to sneak in one of my other keywords on my site. So alarm monitoring is one. So even though it's not the same Arlington, Texas alarm monitoring, the algorithm knows in this case that Arlington, Texas is the location. So I'm pretty safe in adding alarm monitoring and having it apply that. But if that wasn't a location, then it would be kind of a gamble, but at least I have that. I've thrown in those words. So then of course you can center, you can make it to the left or right, and you can play with these on your site, because sometimes you can get it if you, let's say if you like stick it here, or let's do it here. Like if you were to add media and put it there instead, you can make it so that it is next to the content. So you just have to play with it to see what you like and what you think looks good. And of course, if just because you think it looks good, there's going to be 10 people that think it looks horrible, and 10 other people that think it looks wonderful, and 10 people who are going to be neutral. So don't let that hurt your feelings at all. If somebody goes, oh, it looks like crap, just go with what go with the system. Most people need to have the white space and have minimal content jumbled together. You want to spread that out. So even if you have a longer page, that's okay, because people can scroll if they're on their phones, or even scroll if they're on their computers. So I tend to have, if you have, this one's only 536 words. One, I would definitely add more content than that. The general rule, and this is consistent, and Jeff Lenny just confirmed this, is over 1,000. And he said 1,300, but I've heard a lot of people say try to get closer to 1,500 words. And this is when specifically for content. In e-commerce, it's a little bit harder, and you're going to need to look at your competition, because your competition may only have like 500 words, and you just need to try to beat them. And of course, then have more of the keywords. So we've gotten our first image has the keyword in it, and we have our keyword, of course, in the title, the H1 tag, and then we've got our keyword in the first general section, so the first sentence. I have to put it in the first sentence. You can put it in the second sentence if you need to, but make sure it's close to the front. Otherwise, the further it is, the less important it is in the algorithm. Then here I've got this is my first H2 tag, is what they call this, an H2 tag. And I have alarm monitoring here, and I think it actually links to another site. And this is interesting because there's a kind of a weird glitch in here. Oh, and by the way, if you need to toggle to change stuff, there's this button here. Nobody ever told me that, and I had to figure it out. What's this one? Huh. I obviously have a plugin that does that. So my first one's alarm monitoring, but I should change this. And here's why, is that my first H2 tag is also very important. It's almost as important as the H1 tag. So I have it here. I should probably have it here as well. So I'm actually going to change this to read Arlington, Texas Security Systems Alarm Monitoring, and make sure that this is all says H2, so that's good. And this is the reason why this is smaller, is because it's a link. So this is the thing, that there's a glitch in here. You want it to be bigger, but there's you can't adjust this for some reason. It's really weird. So once you do that link, where are you? You can do some stuff with it, but you're gonna have to play with it, because I tried to change the color once. See if it'll let me. Oh, it does let me do it now. So they must have addressed that. So you have to go in there and play with it. Oh, no, as soon as I did it, it made it all small again. And that's because of that link. So you just have to play with it. I mean, if it ends up being smaller, that's okay. But changing the color breaks it up. So the color for the heading kind of says, oh, this is important. And then here's the information. So I've put that in my first H2 tag. Now, I'm going to say that how often you put it in your H2 tag generally doesn't matter, but Yoast recommends, and I don't know if they tell you this anymore, but this is what they used to recommend. Let's go back here, that you have it in, and they'll say right here, the focus keyword appears in only 2 out of 6 subheadings in your copy. Try to use it in at least one more subheading. Every time you add one to it, it'll be 3 out of 6. Try to use it in one more. 4 out of 6. Try to use it in one more. And so Yoast, which is, focusing on search engine optimization, says, hey, put it in more subheadings. Now, I can tell you, if you've gone this far already, if you've got it here, here, and here, you've already probably beat out 90% of the people out there, because most people do not do that. They do not focus a keyword. First of all, they don't focus a keyword. They do not include it in their H1 tag most of the time. And if they do, it's never at the beginning. And then they'll never put it in the beginning part. They'll have it somewhere. They won't have it in their H2. I mean, there's always going to be elements that people aren't doing. So if you've already done this, you have it in your title, you have it in the beginning of your description, and you have it in your subheading, you are way ahead of the majority of people, which is funny because that's not that hard, right? So you're like, oh, wait, I can put it in a couple of different sections, and all of a sudden you are way ahead. And then, of course, changing the image, making the image have that in there, now you're beyond most of the people. So that's just the first part of it. And then you can go in, and again, you can fine tune it if you wanted to add it into, into each of the subheadings. Like in this case, I could. It makes sense. If it makes sense, you should do it. And that's fine in this case that I could do it because it's in Arlington, Texas security systems, even if I was taking that off and just focusing on security systems. So security systems, burglar systems, that makes sense. You know, security systems, alarm monitoring, it makes sense. So it's fine to do that. It's when you start trying to do, if you try to do it in something where it doesn't make sense, like lose weight, and then you have a dash, now, lose weight, dash, tomorrow, lose weight, that would probably be a little bit harder to read. So that's really what you're going for more, is the harder to read. So, and then what I would do is I also try to, of course, make sure that I'm within that percentage. So down here we have the keyword density is 2%. And, you know, it's funny because Jeff said that what they're finding is that the keyword density doesn't matter as much, or well, actually he said keyword density doesn't matter. But you know, if you're writing naturally, it should be fine. But you know, I've tested this, and it does seem to be that if you focus your keywords, so keep in mind when we're writing it, and we may write it a different way. So we may say, instead of security systems, we may say security alarm, or security functionality, or something like that. And so when we're using alternate words, it's not as focused. And so if you go back and you see those sections and you go, okay, well, I'm not quite at 1%. Maybe I need to focus my word a little bit better. And I think that does two things. One is it reduces the confusion of the viewer. So they're looking at this going, okay, what is this about? If you focus that to that keyword, and your keyword density is between 1% and 4%, you probably are making sure that you're on topic, which is great, because then your viewer knows what you're talking about. They get they understand the concepts, and well, I mean, hopefully, because you know, some people don't. There's nothing you can do about those people. So I think that 1% to 4% is still good, regardless of what they're reporting, and I don't think it's going to hurt you at all. So you should probably still aim for that 1% to 4%. If you go, you know, Webfire says 1% to 4%, and if you go over 4%, they say that the system looks at it as you're gaming it. And you know, I've shown this in e-commerce. It's hard because if you only have 500, 600 words, you could easily get that up over 4% when you're talking about any concept in there. So you turn around and go, okay, well, does it really matter in e-commerce or not? We don't know. And that's where you'd have to test. You know, if you're selling more than one product, it's easy. You know, make sure you have, you know, some of them varying a little bit, and aim for that 1% to 4%. So let's see. Yeah, okay, we're going to ignore that for a second. Okay, so we've done that. We've got that in our H2. And then, of course, we're making this look better. So, you know, monitoring security system is critical. You could even stop right there, and then that's an important sentence, right? So that can be as long as your paragraph is, because paragraphs don't really work online. So just keep reminding yourself of that, because I'm pretty sure all of us are perfectionists and go, wait, it has to have 3 sentences. It has to be, you know, no, just toss out your normal grammar requirements and just make sure you write, you know, well. But I say that, and yet one of my resources here, and I've talked about this in a prior one, right here is this goes to Grammarly, and I'm going to pull that up real quick. So if you go to grammarly.com, and I'll type that into the, then, and this is obviously logged me in or something already, but you just sign up for a Grammarly. It's free. Just sign up for the free account, and you can put it on, I think, any of the browsers. So I use Chrome, but I think they have, if you log in, if you go to grammarly.com from that browser, it'll say, oh, get the Firefox plugin or add-on or whatever it is. And I'm like, oh, okay. So they seem to have one for every browser, and that is really nice. I mean, I love it when I'm doing anything, you know, especially like when I'm teaching and I'm typing to my students in the online forum, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's misspelled, because, you know, it doesn't, sometimes you have spell check and sometimes it doesn't work, but Grammarly checks for spelling and grammar, which is very, very nice, because a lot of times I'm doing this at 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the morning, and I don't know why, but sometimes my brain does not know proper grammar at 1 or 2 in the morning. Yes, I believe it is, Sandra. I think it is for the Mac as well. So double check that, but Grammarly is highly funded. I don't know where they're getting their money from, but I mean, they do have paid versions, but they are obviously highly funded, and they have a ton of resources. And I think it's for just about everybody, because they really focused on students, and there's a lot of students that like Mac. So I'm sure they have it. If you go there, I'm sure you'll find it. So definitely use that. Like I said, especially the free version. I've never used a paid version, and it's still wonderful. So that's what I recommend. And that'll help you when you're writing. So that it's telling me there's 2 issues, and it'll tell you where the issues are when you're writing. So right here is an issue, and they want me to say the first, act as the first instead of a first. So let me see if that makes sense, because sometimes it doesn't. So sometimes called an intrusion alarm, security systems actually or usually act as a first line of notification for someone. Okay, it could be the. And a lot of times you read it and go, oh, yeah, that's true. And so, but check it, because sometimes it doesn't make sense. I don't know why, but there's some grammar rules that do not make sense. It may be correct, but I still want it to be read. You know, I know how people are going to read it. You know how people are going to read it. And if you read it and go, wait, that doesn't make any sense, somebody else is going to be the same way. So this one, they want a comma, but I put a dash, so I'm going to leave it for now. And see, you can decide on that. All right, so then residential monitoring can include, so then I might, put some here, put some space in there. You can play with it. See, I try not to break up concepts, but sometimes you have to. And then, but like I said, more white space, good. You can make these smaller, by the way. So this one says size, full size. You can do thumbnail, medium, custom, and then you can update it and it'll make a different size. I needed it bigger because there's some really tiny content on here. And then, like I said, then you can go through and make the colors. So that's pretty much the basics of how you put, different things on here. Let's see, would look better if you put a space before that dash. Yeah, maybe. That could be a way to do it too. It still doesn't like it, but let's see, down here, let's check our analysis. I agree that the dash doesn't show up if you don't have space before it. Like I said, I wrote this a long time ago. Yeah, I agree. Okay, so they say improvements. Oh, and this is something that I forgot about. And this is why I like Yoast, because it reminds me, right? So one of them, it says you're linking to another page with the focus keyword you want to rank for. I don't think I am, but I obviously screwed something up because it wasn't there before. So here, I did something weird. And so I'm going to edit this. And you can actually, what you should do is when you have a link like this, you should open it. And so link is alarm monitoring. So you should click this open link in a new tab. And the reason I do that, even though it's not as critical when you're doing it from page to another page in your site, is that if you don't want to take them off your site. So especially if you're linking externally, and we're actually going to build an external link. Let's see if that fixed. Oh, I bet it's this one maybe. Yeah, so that looks like it's in there. So I'm going to go in here, and this is not, I want the link text just to be, let's see what happens when I do this, because, yeah, that's what I thought. So again, this helps if you, Arlington, Texas security systems. We'll actually do the space up there, and then we'll change the color of it, and then see. So there's something with that's that linking that makes it so it's smaller, but so that should have fixed that now. Yeah, so that's not there anymore. Now the other one, they say no outbound links appear on this page. Now in e-commerce, the first thing, or well, in most page, e-commerce, affiliate linking, or just about anything, you're like, wait, I don't want to have an outbound link because they're going to go to another site. Well, that's part of search engine optimization, is that, Google rewards you for helping people. And they believe that if you're providing an external link that goes to another site, then you are doing a good deed and they're going to reward you for that. You're answering somebody's problem. Now, I say that, and of course, what's the first thought you have probably is, why would I want to send them to somebody else? Right? I mean, why would I want to send them to somebody else? But there's a lot of different things that you can link out to. And in fact, the higher the authority of the site, so authority sites are like, unfortunately, Amazon and Etsy and stuff are authority sites, but those aren't the type of authority that we're talking about. So let's think about in the niche, right? So in security, I might, especially when I'm talking about fire systems, right? So I'm talking about fire systems down here. Excuse me. It might be, what is it? National Fire Academy, National Fire, let's see what, I can't remember what it's called. I don't know why. Right here, National Fire Data System, right? So well, it's not data system, NFPA is what it is, National Fire Protection Association, right? So that is actually what I'm going to link to, because that is a high authority site. Yep, Sandra, exactly, informational sites. So this is information, I mean, they're not competition to me at all. They talk about like fire and everything else, and even if they have a directory, I'm linking out to give them, information. So I might go back in here and say, I might even just say, for more information about fire standards and requirements, visit the NFPA site. And then I don't have to type the actual URL, but what I'll do is I'll highlight NFPA site. And so this is one thing you need to keep in mind. Whatever you highlight and you specify, of course, you saw me change that a second ago. So I'm going to say insert link, and then I'm going to hit this little link options so I can see all of my options. Make sure it opens in a new tab. I'm going to put the URL here. Make sure that link text is still correct. Now that link text, which I've highlighted here, and if I change that, it'll change the text here. That is called a keyword, right? I mean, because that's what we've just identified it as, NFPA site as a keyword, and that's what our link is saying. So we are now giving credit to whatever this link is with that keyword. Yes, people do manipulate that and do really mean things with it. However, this is exactly what you would also want to do internally. So if you have a complementary product, so you have a sweatshirt and you have a t-shirt, you go, oh, hey, don't forget to check out our sweatshirts here. You could put whatever your keyword is that you're trying to put on that page, you would use there to link internally. So whether it's internal or external, whatever this link text is going to be your keyword. So you do not want to use your main keyword. So in this case, Arlington, Texas Security Systems, I would not want that as my link text to link out. So, or to even link internally, because I'm trying to focus in on that page. So I would use it on another page to link to here, but not necessarily out, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? I know everybody's taking notes. And yes, this is being recorded, by the way. Okay, so, and that's fine. It's kind of, it is kind of a weird concept. So, we've identified our keyword. So I'm actually going to add this link real quick. So we've identified our keyword, and we've identified it as Arlington, Texas Security Systems. Now, when I link to something, I'm giving power to whatever word I'm linking to. So like, let's say, while this sounds empowering, if I create a link to somewhere from this, I just now have given a vote by linking to something with this word, with this series of words, and this is going to be their keyword, which can be a word or a phrase. So if I were to go back up here and say, okay, well, Arlington, Texas Security Systems, and I were to highlight that, which is my keyword, and I link to anything, whether it's internal or external, I've now devalued my keyword on this page because I've now voted that goes somewhere else. So I've taken away the power of the keyword on my site. So I never want to link the phrase or word that I'm using as my keyword. I never want to link that to go anywhere else on that page. But if I'm on another page, so if I'm on, burglar systems, right? So let's just say I was going to be on burglar systems. That's not what I wanted. I could in here say, this is just, of course, for local, so I could say give us a call, but I can still use this. So Arlington, Texas Security Systems is the keyword that I used on that other page. So I can insert a link, and I would say, and because this one is a page, it'll be down here as well. So here's my Arlington, Texas security systems. And I can say, I can add that link, and I've now given myself an internal link for that exact keyword. And in fact, what Jeff Lenny said the other day, and I never heard of this other than I know that linking internally is still powerful. But he said that if you have 3 internal links that go back to one page, that's as powerful as an external link, which is kind of nice. So now if you have, 5 pages on your site, you can have each one of them link back to each other for those specific keywords, which is good because that helps coordinate and organize your content theoretically. So if I say that, now I've got this one linking back to the other page, but as long as my keyword here allegedly would be burglar systems, I can still link internally to my other one, and that was the page where it's here, Arlington, Texas security systems. So you can still use that keyword on other pages in your site to link back to that, but this is the page that you want to focus on that one keyword. And so if you use that on another page, you should link back to this one. But if you do not want to link to an external site, so let's say that there was, Smith Security is a company that is here local. I wouldn't want to highlight this and link to Smith Security because I'm now giving Smith Security credit for that keyword that I'm trying to rank for. So if you do that, what Google looks at it and says, oh, okay, you're not the end all be all. You're telling us to use a different site for that keyword. So you just want to do not link externally from the page that you're on with your keyword. And this is, again, why identifying your keywords is important, because then oh, I can't do that, or I can do that. It kind of gives you a structure to build from. It helps you, like I said, focus your efforts on here, but it also helps you minimize losing your authority on that. Does that help at all? Okay. Okay, Linda, you have a question? I was just waiting for Linda's question, by the way. Linda, I have a basic question. Yeah. Okay, so while using the SEO, bring someone to a site where we're selling items like a landing page or our whole T-Rex site. Okay, so that's a very good question, Linda. And search engine optimization is right. Yeah, we're not sort of. When you search engine optimize, you have to optimize for that page. You're no longer optimizing for the site. So if anybody was exposed to this pre-2006-ish, I think that's about when it was, 2006, 2007, something like that. This shifted then. It used to be where you would rank your entire site. You don't do that anymore. You want to basically focus your content on each page. Now, that doesn't mean that, I showed this the other day, you can do a search and it'll go to somebody's homepage. So yeah, we don't use the whole T-Rex site anyway, exactly. So while they might end up on your front page, that's not A, ideal, and B, it's not really what we want. We want to focus on our specific page. So in that case, and I'll show that real quick, and I'll go into more detail on this on Monday specifically to our site. But like if they land on this page, I don't know, they have to be searching for all-time finds because fan page. Wait, are you guys talking to each other or back to me again? Well, let me show this real quick. So if somebody lands on this page, they could be going for just about anything, right? So if I show up for a keyword, more than likely they're going to click off of it anyway. But what I would want to do is I would want to make sure that I'm optimizing the specific page. And again, the campaigns are really difficult because there's multiple products on them. But if I were just selling like this shirt, right? If I'm selling this shirt, that page would be optimized for whatever I've identified my keyword is. So that would be, oh, Facebook. Okay. Okay. No, see, so, and we'll talk more about how Facebook integrates backwards. But yeah, when you're doing your ad, so this is again going back to search engine optimization. If I were doing an ad for Arlington, Texas security systems, I created my ad, I threw it in there, and I said I want to get, clicks or whatever. I would not send them to my RE security solution. Well, in this case I would, but that's just because that's the page it's on. So we'll change it and go here. So burglar systems. Let's say I'm doing Arlington, Texas, and I'm doing burglar systems, and I want them to go to this page. I would optimize it for this particular one. This one just happens to be the one that I made be the home page, and that's, of course, that's more local. That's kind of a little bit different than e-commerce or affiliate marketing or anything, is because this is local. That's why I did that. But theoretically, I should actually have this on, and this is where the permalink would help, is if I had this on Arlington, Texas security systems, if I had it on its own page, it would have the keyword, and then it would have / Arlington, Texas security systems, like it does here for burglar systems. So that my keyword would be here as well. And you want that. So since we're not using our homepage, that's exactly what we would want to do, is we want to make sure that the permalink also has our keyword right there. Yep. Yes, exactly. We do. We have a permalink per funnel. So that funnel, and they've mentioned this before, when you have your funnel, each page has the product on it, right? So you start with the first one that you're promoting that's going to get, you've done your testing or whatever, and you said, okay, we've got our first product, we've identified this, here's our first product in the funnel. That funnel page needs to have the keyword in the permalink. And we can edit that all day long and change that. And that's your focus keyword. And that's, of course, how you would have it then in your title. You'd have it in the first part. You'd have it in your first H1. You'd have it in the first image at least. But ideally, in each image, you'd have some variation of that. So that's how you basically tell the search engines what it's about. And when it goes to Schema, Schema's taking, and I don't know if I can show it on this page because this site, I never put it on either. Like, I haven't put Schema on this page yet, but let me go to EP Laser and see what comes up there. I get tired of showing the Baker site. I hate that site. I'm changing it. So anyway, let's go here and go to, and of course none of these are optimized yet, but since Shopify automatically includes Schema, it helps me show you. So like here, let's say, accountant money, wooden Christmas holiday ornaments decoration. Now this is actually optimized for Amazon, by the way, and Amazon optimization is completely different than natural search engine optimization. So if you had a listing on Amazon, this is more what you would see, and that's keyword stuffing, and that's just the way it is. And if we ever want to do Amazon, I'll talk about how to do that. I'm actually very good at it on Amazon too. So, but here, what you would want to see is, so Schema, when you go into the microdata, and once we get this on Trex, is it basically is taking everything here, right? But in WordPress, it doesn't have to. And so what it will do is you'll tell it, okay, title equals title, description equals description, etc. And so it'll have in here, let's see if I can break this down. So it has the URL, title equals home, So title is profession gifts for the collection, and then it has, here's the properties for the name: accountant money, wooden Christmas holiday ornaments decoration set of 6. So okay, wait, hold on. I got a couple questions here I missed. I'm sorry. Okay, so someone could possibly search for a Pitbull t-shirt, and this method might bring them to our funnel permalink. Yes. Oh, sorry, don't answer till you can. Not after your flow. Sorry, Linda. It's just me, so I go back and forth on 2 screens. Yes, if you optimize for Pitbull t-shirt, and if once you start ranking for that, which is, we can search that and see if it's possible, but if you focus that keyword, they could easily find that page on there. As far as if it's later in the funnel, I don't know. We'd have to look at that, because I think there is the risk, if you leave it so that it can find it, that they could find something in your funnel. So we'd have to check that a little bit later. I'm still stuck on getting Schema to work. So once they reply to me and we get that figured out, because I actually went back and put kept testing it and testing it and testing it. And there's actually a tool where you can test to see if Google can see the schema on it. And even though I put it in the WordPress plugin, it didn't work. So I went back in and I put it in where we would put our tracking codes for Facebook, and it overrode the general tracking code. So I had to put the Facebook code in again. But while Google could read it, Facebook still didn't pick it up. So I think they're going to have to do something on their end, which would be nice for everybody, because then we don't have to pay or add any plugins. But they may have to put something in on there, and it shouldn't be that hard. It's a freaking code. It says this equals this, and you just say tell schema this equals this. So this shouldn't be that difficult for them to add in. But when I have my suspicions, they may not even know what I'm talking about when I talk schema. So anyway, so yes, Sandra, use keywords in your permalink, yes, but do not use keywords as links either internally or externally. On that page, correct. You do not want to use this keyword. You do not want to link out from this page, but you can, let's say you have, oh man, I need scribble pad really bad. So let's say you have 2 products, right? Okay, we'll just use these 3 images right here. So these 3 images, we have 3 pages that are focused on 3 different keywords. So this one's going to be sensors, this one's going to be alarm.com, and this one's going to be real-time alerts. So sensors, I would never want to link out to any other pages with the word sensors, but I can link from this page to here with the word sensors, and from this page to here with the word sensors. Same thing goes here. So if I'm focusing on alarm.com for this one, I should not link out, even though that's a natural link out, but you know, we'll just say that it's not. So we'll say alarm.com. I wouldn't want to link out to here, and I wouldn't want to link out to here, and I wouldn't want to link out to any other pages, but I would want this page to link to say alarm.com and link over here, and this one to say alarm.com and link over here. Does that help, Sandra? Okay, good. Good, good, good. I'm not kidding when I say I want all of us to be ranking by, in a few months for a keyword. I know it's not going to be easy. All of our keywords aren't going to be easy to rank for, but I think honestly, if we start implementing all of these, I mean, look I was ranking Arlington, Texas security systems. You saw, I told you, I have stuff I have to fix on here. I still have a lot more I need to correct on here. And I was still ranking on page 1 and 2 repeatedly for this for a while. And I use a tool that like looks for the ranks, and that's through Webfire. But for some reason, the Google one doesn't work very well. And that's not their fault. That's something to do with Google. But Google will, once you get it connected correctly, Google will tell you your keyword rank anyway. So once we get to that part, which we'll talk about making sure that we get on there, get Google Analytics in there and have it read and everything. Once it gets there and it starts recognizing it, all of a sudden it'll tell you what you're ranking for. And I'm not I figured it out the other day, and I was like, wait, you've never shown me this before my entire life. And I followed all of your instructions, and there's some like button I pushed, and all of a sudden it started working. So I'll have to find that button again. But yeah, I mean, there's the Google Analytics will give you a lot of the information that you need. So, okay, we're already at 4:50 my time. So let me know what questions you have. We've covered, how to implement the keyword now, linking out. Oh, and if we were to, I should have a video on this page, right? Because I don't have a video. So what I would want to do is I would have that video in here. Let me see if I can actually, and it's really easy to add media, by the way. Once you've uploaded it onto YouTube, you just say insert from URL, and you could put the link there. So if I go over to YouTube, oh, I hate doing this on live. Can't block anything, so sometimes porn comes up. So like I would want to load it with that keyword into here. But if you don't have a keyword, like, so Aaron's Locksmith and Security, that's interesting. Those are 2 completely different licensing. So he's in Arlington, Texas too. But let's say that was my video. I could go in, I could take the link. Sorry. You could take where it says share, you can just take this link. You no longer have to embed, by the way, on WordPress. They have this automatically built in. I didn't know people didn't know that. So, and then you just paste it in there and say insert in page, and it will bring it in, and it'll be right there. And I think you can edit this a little bit too, but, oh, and this is mine, that's not theirs. So it would show it in there, and then you can even say, check out this video or I wouldn't say checkout. That's like a really weird word. But you can say, here is a video on, then that would, you just snuck your keyword in again if you need to get it up there. You don't have to, but if you have it, this is actually a link back when you embed it like this. So, well, I say that it's not necessarily a link back because we're embedding it from there. As long as it's ours, it's good. If it's somebody else's, that helps them as well. So obviously I'm not going to put that in here. I just backspace to get that out of there. I'm actually going to keep the changes so far. And then, but that's what I would want to do. So when you put it here though, because you're embedding it, right? So there's actually optimization we have to do on this page to help with that word. And when we get to videos, I'll talk all about that. There's a ton of stuff about videos that are really cool. So anyway, so that's kind of the general idea of it. So your tasks this week are going to be to pick at least one of your products. You don't have to do it for all of them yet, but at least one of them. You should have your keywords from last week. If not, make sure you get your keywords. You identify which keyword you want for that one page. Then, and again, if you guys don't have Webfire or you don't want, you want me to run it through, just send me a message through Facebook. I'll run it through and I'll send you a link to a PDF. So you want to make your keyword there, put it in here, put it in your H2, and we'll do this specifically on a product on Monday. So if one of you says, oh, hey, I want you to do my product, shoot me, send me a message and say, hey, do this product, and I'll do it on my site so that way it doesn't screw anything up. But yeah, so that's your goal now, is to go through and start writing the content and do. So if you might have to set up your funnel page. So if you haven't learned that, you're going to want to go in and learn how to do a funnel page, because you want to make that your product your first one of your funnel. And then we'll do that as a whole funnel page, and then we'll work on that more as we go. But the idea of this week is going to be, sure, Linda, yeah, send it over. Yeah, I'll do it. I'll build it on my site, but you can obviously replicate it. I won't compete with you though, I promise. I have my own plans. In fact, my husband's been watching the training videos for Trex, and because he really likes it. I mean, when I told him about it, he was excited about it, but then every time he watches a video and he goes, oh my gosh, this is so powerful. And I said, I know. And I was like, okay, but part of my problem is that I'm trying to figure out all these specific like application things. And he goes, well, and then make products. And he goes, I go, I don't have time to do all of this. He goes, well, let me learn the site. So basically I can just give him the product and he could put it in the funnel, build the funnel for me and everything else. And I was like, that would be helpful, because I don't have time to do both, to do all the different things that I'm doing, plus do the back end part of Trex. And so, as it is, I find stuff that doesn't work. Yeah, see, Linda, I kind of figured as much. So you're the creative side. You're the creative side. He's the analytical. Somebody mentioned that the other day on a webinar. I think it was Travis. And so he's sitting there talking. He's the guy that does Chatmatic. And somebody was asked a question like, well, how do I get my wife into e-commerce? And he goes, well, you need to build her a site because she probably won't want to. And I was like, I don't understand that, because I love building websites. But then I'm like, yeah, I'm really good at building them. But then I never get to the point where I get to execute them because I spend so much time on building them. And so like my husband's point was, look, you can still build the content and everything. Just give it to me. I'll put the structure in place, because that's real analytical and he likes that. He goes, and you still get to do all the creative stuff. And I was like, oh, okay, that's a good idea. All right, so what if our funnel permalink doesn't have a video? That's okay. We'll talk about video stuff later. So if you don't have a video right now, that's fine, because that's like a specific week. We'll have to focus on videos on a specific week. And because there's so much power in the video on Trex UX, that might even be 2 weeks worthy for us, or maybe just like an extended one or something, because they have a very impressive implementation of video that we definitely need to try. And there's some reasons why, but I'd love to do that. And that's one thing that once he gets up and running, I'm like, oh, do it fast, get ready, because I want to do one with a video. So I'll teach you during the video week how we can do a video, like a really quick video. In fact, it's free. I've figured out how to do it for free. So, and it's basically, You're gonna like this, Linda. I use Adobe, so that one's not free. I use Adobe. I use what is this one called? Doodly. I use Movavi for screenshot stuff. I mean, I have like 15 different programs. Camtasia's good. I don't know. Do they have? Isn't that paid though? I don't think they have a free version. Do they? Like you can use it free for like a period of time or something. Okay, the one I use for free. You're gonna love this. Facebook. Okay, everybody said mind blown, right? Mind blown, right? You're gonna have to wait and see. It is so funny. Oh, you use it too, Joanne? Do you steal the video and use it though? So you create the video on Facebook, like you're gonna be doing an ad or whatever, right? Or you do it. Hold on, baby, I'm not done. You need to wait. I'm on talking to people. You need to wait. Why does the phone ring every time I'm in here? Pick it up and put it down. That phone should not be ringing. It's a that's a non-line. How do they get that number? That's a line, external calls only. Anyway, so yeah, I'm trying to. She knows how to answer the phone for the security company. She knows the phone number. She knows she's a better like receptionist person than I am. I'm like, probably because I don't do it, but her grandma does, and grandma taught her. So yeah, well, and see, Joanne, that's the things we're gonna have to. Depending on the type of video you want to do. This is why I have like 100 different resources, is because depending on the video you want to do, you're going to want different things. To be honest, the best video for e-commerce, well, for anything, for e-commerce, for affiliate marketing, is raw video from like your phone. That is like the best converting video out there. So all of us want to have professional videos, but the reality is that professional videos don't sell products. It's the cheap off your camera phone or off of a little digital camera where you're just unboxing a product or something. Those are the highest converting videos. Oh, okay, fine, I'll teach you it real quick. Oops, not at whatever I just is not right. So let's see if it'll let me do it from here. If I can do it. No, I think you have to do it in the ads section. This is why I want to do it there. So if you go in like you're going to do an ad, this is how I was cheating. Just create an ad. Go to ads manager, yeah. And this might have been, I was probably creating an ad is what I did. In fact, I went back to the ad and did it. So you can go in, it doesn't have to be conversions, by the way, I'm just clicking stuff. And then, I don't care, just pick something. I'm gonna see how far it's gonna let me get without having to click something. Okay, so right here, you can do this one where you say carousel, and it says view 2 or more, right? No, slideshow. That's what I wanted, slideshow, sorry. So you say slideshow, and then you can pick images from it. Wow, this is not the page I know. I must do it with my computer, with my laptop. So you can just go in here and you can go in and pick some pictures, right? And then I wonder if I can just do this. By the way, I held down shift and then I clicked it and it gave me multiple. So I clicked the first one, held down shift, clicked that next one. If you wanted to do individual ones, you just hold down control and you can select ones individually. So, so then you can put there and you can just say, confirm. And then once it generates, so you'll say, you can actually put some music, you can pick one of their music. Sorry if you guys could hear that. That was really loud. Yes. So, well, and I called it carousel. It's actually the slideshow one. But yeah, you do the pictures of the slideshow. And there's a program out there that this guy was promoting the other day. and it does this exact thing, right? Where you put the images in it. They charge $97 a month. And I'm like, I can do that on Facebook for free. Now, the one catch is that once you do it and once you generate it, like you may have to like put the ad to run in the future if you don't want to actually make it an ad and then just turn it off. This is how I did it. Like I said, there's probably a better way and somebody else can tell me this, but so Joanne, that doesn't surprise me because a lot of people have been kind of complaining about that. And if that's with the ad, you may have to contact them. You may have to stop it and redo it. But once you generate it, so I don't want to start this one because I didn't do it. But once you generate it, you can go to your posts. And I think even if it's pending, you can do this. And in fact, you can do it when it's pending. So you go to page posts. I'm not going to do this one, but I'm going to show you one on that I did on. I said leave this page. I don't know how many times I tell you that. It's like Microsoft. Are you sure? Yes, I hit the button. I'm sure. So you can go in like this one is. This one's a video right here, I believe. And this is where I told you guys about this resource before. And in case you missed it, there is blah, blah, blah. You can go to the post page. And then, where's it right here? This is the fbdown.net, right? And you have to play with this because sometimes you download it and it's wrong. But like this one shouldn't have like a gajillion pages on it. But you can download it from the fbdown.net. You can just steal it right off of there. Show video URL. I wonder if that's why. I want to go there. Maybe that's why it's showing me a ton of them. Stop it. Yep, so now once I go into the actual video one, I can download SD or HD. Boom! Your guys' mind is blown, isn't it? My sister taught me that word, mind blown, and I'm like, I love that. And they actually have a little emoji out for it. Oh, no problem, Linda. There's a lot of neat little tricks like this. Of course, as you get going, this is obviously a convoluted way of getting a free video, but we have to do it a convoluted way to get it for free. Eventually, what you'll want to do is, because I created this original one, this is not obviously made in Facebook, but once so this is made, the background and everything, I did that in Adobe. So when you get to that point where you want to want to have more freedom, you're going to want to find a tool that you like, that you'll use, and it's faster, because faster is better. Or that you say, okay, hey, I don't care, I'm going to pay somebody to do a video for me or whatever. Eventually you'll get to that point where you're not doing these convoluted things to get free stuff. Yeah, after you make some money, exactly. So you start making some money and you're like, oh, hey, where can I cut out time that it's taking me? So for my videos, I use Adobe Premiere Pro. So I have all the Adobe suite because as an instructor, I pay like $35 a month instead of $50 a month. So, and of course I'd happily pay $50 a month, but why not take a discount when I can? So yeah, I use Premiere Pro to do the video, and you can do the exact same thing. One of those, here, if you go in there and do free video, oh, you know what else is free is, I don't know if you can do it in there, but there's a Windows one. Creation software, if you can spell, or just select the. So and of course you can go through some of these, right, and see what they have. So, and like top 10 best free video editing software for Windows 2017, you can look at these and you can see, just be careful. Sandra, I know you say that, and I agreed at first, but to be honest, like if you wanted to get Adobe commercial version for any one product, right? So let's say I just wanted to get Premiere Pro, I have to pay $400 for it. And then the next year, when the new update came out, if I wanted the new features, or if there was something glitchy with the last one because I now have the next Windows version, I'd have to repurchase the software. And I may only have to pay like $100 for the update, But I'm like, wait, if you're using, because I use Photoshop, I use Illustrator, I use Premiere Pro, let's see, I tried using Audition, but I'm not that good. Oh my gosh, Adobe Bridge. When we get to pictures, I'm going to show you guys some really awesome stuff on Adobe Bridge that is like, you'll be surprised at what you can do with it. But Adobe Bridge is, I don't use it all that often, but just having access to it is amazing. So, you know, to me, I'm like, okay, I don't want to have to pay for that every single time. And yes, you're right that we used to be able to use the older version for years, but unfortunately, Microsoft and many others have decided that they want to update their operating systems that mandatorily force you to change your operating system every few years. So even if you could use it for a couple of years, you still had to end up purchasing it. I have to, like QuickBooks, I have to use the desktop version. And because of that, my accountant's like, look, just call it an expense and buy it every year because you need the updated stuff. I had like 2013 and I tried using it, and like after 2 years, it's basically useless. So you can use it for 2 years, but my accountant just said, look, just count that. You're going to have to just budget that in and make sure you have the desktop version every year. So, and I don't like the online version doesn't work with like anything, which is why I use the desktop version, and it's the dumbest accounting system ever, but that's what all accountants use. QuickBooks can quote me on that. You're the dumbest accounting system ever. You're not user-friendly. So, all right, any last questions? And then my daughter, I'm sure, is going to come in here any minute and tell me, I'm hungry. I want toast. That's what she always says. I want toast. I'm getting better. Just a few coughs now. I'm doing better. My asthma guy's a genius, so. All right, so everybody's going to be ready for Monday, right? Get off the web. Stop doing videos. Right, everybody's ready to do the keywords. Wait, which is my better one? No, this is the better one. And of course, if there may be some stuff you get stuck on, which of course, as you get stuck on it, let me know, because especially with the T-Rex stuff, because if like with images, we're kind of limited on what we can do with the images right now. And that's because we have a preloaded site. So there's some manipulation we may have to do and test, and I don't want to screw up your sites doing that. So if you get stuck on something, let me know so I can screw up one of my funnels that I'm not using, and then I can figure out the right way to do it and then tell you. Because honestly, I know WordPress inside and out, right? I can do a ton of stuff on WordPress, but because Trex did basically their own structure of it, the rules don't apply. So we have to go through them, unfortunately. So the sooner you tell me, hey, I ran into this issue, how do I do that? I can either figure out that there is no way to do it and we need to ask them, or I can figure it out. And that way it moves the process faster. So as you run into some challenge, please let me know, even if you just message me. I know sharing, I know it's hard in the group, so I do get that, but at least message me. Oh, gosh, Sandra, I mean, be honest, it was funny because I was telling my husband, I said, I know a lot of people were discouraged that didn't make any money over the holidays. I said, but after that first major, oh, whoops, we broke your site and everybody needs to be reinstalled, I was like, yeah, I'm just going to plan on this being a 2018 venture, because I kind of knew that we were going to have more challenges than they anticipated. And we have. And there's a lot of things that there's no way that they could have had the foresight that Facebook was going to use Schema. When they built that software was pre-May 2017. They were building that. So, the fact that I'm bringing, we're bringing this to them and saying, hey, this is probably a potential issue for our ads. What can we do to fix this? It's not going to be like, they're not going to snap their fingers and say, oh, this is fixed. And it's not really their fault, because they built this long ago. It takes a long time to build software. So it's not like it's something that they could have foreseen and said, oh, well, Facebook's going to do some really crappy thing to everybody and make this happen. I'm just kind of interested that nobody's talking about it. So I'm like, that's like the one of the two things they told us about their change. So Yeah, I know. I know they had some tech turnaround right then. I do know that. And that's why I have no complaints about them. I like I said, when I bought this, I didn't buy this. I mean, I was excited and I thought I could do well, but I also think that I can do a lot of stuff that I can't. And that is like 500 things in one day. I mean, you know, realistically, we can do one main thing in a day, right? So, um, Sandra, I think that'll get better the more we do it. You know, as we fine tune this, as we fine tune our, you know, eventually when we're done with this, we'll have a checklist. And so we'll have a checklist that we can just go through and go boom, 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 boom. And even if we're not doing it, you know, when we're making money, we can always farm out specific tasks to a VA. And so in all reality, even though right now it feels like, oh my gosh, I'm going to break my site, everything's going to go wrong, I think we're being more dramatic. WordPress is extremely stable. So even though there's some Trex glitches that happen, and like I'm always worried to update now. Like there's a new update, and I'm like, well, there's an update and nobody said anything about it yet. So I'm like, oh, do I need to update it or not? I'm like, well, I don't know. Is my site working? Yeah, it's working. I'm not going to worry about updating it right now. I'll just move on. So I do think though that we do have a very solid structure with that. And of course, if anybody's watching this replay going, wait, what are you guys talking about? And I'm not sure what the name will be later on, but you know, T-Rex, Trex, Printex, it's all part of an e-commerce thing that's super amazing. So if you're not a member and you're watching this and you're interested, reach out because our group would be more than happy to welcome you in and get you, you know, the next time they're offering the buy-in for the stores, we can definitely get you connected with somebody. So yeah, I know. I couldn't find anything that said that it's okay or not okay. So we'll just have to see on that. But yeah, okay. So our to-do list is now, if you haven't done the keywords, make sure you do the keywords and then start applying them to your page. And again, for the T-Rex Trex people, we will do this to a product on Monday so that we make sure we have this completely, you know, nailed down on that. Like I said, we won't focus necessarily on the pictures in the video. We'll focus more on the actual content and how to do that and how we can build, you know, 500, 600, 800 words of content on there, because that's going to be difficult in e-commerce. And again, you know, even if you are building this and you're doing, oh, hey, you know, I'm trying to aim for 1,500 words. If you can't get to 1,500 words, that's okay. You know, if you can only do 300 words, that's okay. And in many cases, especially in e-commerce, the word count is almost irrelevant. So yeah, 500 words on a landing sales funnel page. Yeah, I mean, that should be easy. 500 words should be fairly easy. I mean, you're going to be talking about the product and everything. So that's what we'll aim for to start with, you know, at least 500. And then we'll just have to do some testing and see, because, you know, if you look at some of these words, in fact, I just did one the other day where it was white flower earrings, right? So obviously the powerhouses come up. Etsy, there's Target. Wait, was that one paid? No, so Etsy, Target, and this is Polyvore, right? So Polyvore, I was like, well, that's not, I've never heard of that. They are a powerhouse. I just didn't know that. They're a big, huge site, I guess. They've got like 60,000 backlinks coming in. So they've been doing their due diligence, but look at what it lands on. Nothing with any content on it. So I go, huh. And the reason why I was looking at this one and specifically is because I ran it through Webfire and it said 100%. And that's because, yeah, all of these that are coming up have no content on it. So I don't know if we can rank or not, but it's definitely worth trying. So I'm going to, you know, I have my brother's working with me on some 3D printed earring things that I'm trying to do from our patterns that we have, just to kind of play with it. And I'm going to go ahead and do a page that's going to say white flower earrings, and it's going to be all about white flower earrings. I'm going to see if I can get on page 1. I don't know. E-commerce works a little different because remember, Google is trying really hard to push these sponsored ads, right? And then they're doing image based. So sometimes, in fact, it's kind of funny. So on my security page, I can't remember what it was. It was Dallas Security Systems or something like that. So when you put it in there, right? So you have Dallas Security Systems. I think that might be it. And oh man, somebody beat me out. It used to be, ooh, and then no, it had to be a different one then. No, I think this was it. So it used to be where my image showed up here. So it had Dallas Security Systems, which is an actual company in Dallas, right? And my image popped up. So if somebody clicked on that, they went to my site instead of theirs. It was funny. So yeah, there's a lot of different things, that a lot of different ways that people can find you. And the whole point is that the more you can focus that on what you want them to purchase, like we don't want to rank for shirt, because more than likely they're not looking for that. So we want to get as specific as possible. And I talked about that last week. But if we get to that point where we are, we're a lot of people are finding us for different things. So this is accountant Christmas ornament, right? So I wouldn't want somebody to find this for Christmas ornaments, because more than likely they're not gonna want that. So I want somebody who's looking for accountant ornaments or accountant Christmas ornaments. I want them to find that. And of course, I would specify that based on my research. So yes, free traffic at its best, exactly. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get ready to close this out. Any last questions real quick? I know. I'm like, well, I don't like all of them, but I love the money one. I love the little pig. The chart's okay, and I love the bank, but I threw these in there because there was a set of 6 and the 2 that were here didn't go very well. And I'm like, man, I should have just done this as a set of 4 and just taken those out, but it'll be a set of 6. We'll have to give them I want to do ones that are personalized too. That was part of what we like about the Trek site, is personalization. So we're trying to play with that. Yeah, thanks for coming. I really like that people show up, because it makes me feel better. It makes me feel like people want to know what I have to say, even if it's coffee and fast. Me too. But I still have another week and a half before it's over. So hopefully it'll be over by next week, but definitely better than I was on Monday. Yep. Medications, get them through. Plenty of water. Yeah, it was pretty crazy. And that's just like, all he did was change the dosage and then put me on antibiotics. And he's like, yeah, you have a really bad infection. And the guy, they don't know what they're talking about at urgent care. They tried to tell me it was my hormones that were causing my asthma. And I was like, I've never heard of that. And that's what my asthma doctor said. He goes, I've never heard of that. And he starts laughing. He goes, there are really good doctors at urgent care. And I'm like, just not the days I went. We have a lot of urgent cares too, so I could go to a different one. It's fine. They made me feel better, and that was their whole point. I just needed them to help me get to the doctor. And once I got to the doctor, he was able to, he diagnosed me from a cough of all things. All I did was cough, and he goes, I know exactly what your problem is. It's like, wow, you're crazy. That's awesome. I love him. His wife's really good too. She's also a doctor. So if you're ever in Texas and you need a doctor, I know when you need to go to. All right, thanks, Linda. Have a good night. All right, we're going to go ahead and close this out. If there's any other questions, you can message me through Facebook. You can, post them in the group, whatever you want to do. I do get notified when people post in the group. So feel free if you want to leave it for everybody. But if you're like, oh, hey, I'm too shy, or you want me to look at something specific, then go ahead and just message me directly. So, all right, thanks for coming, everybody, and have a great night.